Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Serapion. And Serapion has this question. When making devotional offerings to a number of different deities within the same session, do you need a different dish for each deity, or will one dish suffice for all? And in answering this question, I would have to say that the answer depends, of course, upon what is meant by the word dish. Are we referring to a different type of food for each deity, or are we referring to the offering dish itself? And I'm going to answer both of these from my point of view, and in that order. And in terms of whether you would need a different type of food for each deity, assuming you're making a food offering, or a different type of drink if you're making a drink offering, the first thing I have to say is that certain backgrounds do have quite specific rules on what is an appropriate offering to what deity. And if you're coming from that background, of course, that's what you should be following. But assuming that you're not, and because you're asking me after all, I would say that I would not see that you would need to have a different kind of offering for each deity, but rather could offer each deity a portion of the same offering. And part of my thinking in this is that if you were to invite a number of important people to a dinner party, you wouldn't have a different food for each of them under normal circumstances. They would all be sharing the same dinner. And in making an offering to a number of deities, I kind of look at it the same way. And you want to treat them equally, unless there is, for want of a better way to put it, a guest of honor. And therefore, I think it's a good idea to offer the same thing in the absence of an established preference. And again, if there is an established preference, that's an entirely different matter. But generally speaking, I think that offering a little bit of the same dish to each deity is quite appropriate, and it also removes any question of one being treated differently from the others. And I think that would be quite desirable. Having said that, there's no reason you couldn't have a different dish for each deity either, if that were what you wanted to do, and depending on the type of ritual we're talking about. Having said that, I'm not at all sure that's what Serapion is asking, and Serapion could simply be asking, can you use the same offering dish for each deity? And my answer to that is, well, you can, but you don't have to. I don't see any reason that each deity would have to have a separate offering dish. They know who they are, and as long as you are clear when you are making the offering, then they understand it is for them. And it's largely about respect. So if you're behaving respectfully and you're clear in making the offering, the fact that they're all going ultimately to the same physical place really is irrelevant, because ultimately they're all going to anyway. Generally speaking, when the ritual is over, the offerings are taken and usually offered to the elements, in most traditions, and usually right in the same place. So it's not like they're going to the four corners of the earth in the final analysis. So I see no reason that they necessarily would require different offering dishes. I think it could be very appropriate to have different dishes, but there's no reason to, in my opinion. And it would be the same if it were a libation offering. There's not a need to have many different libation dishes to make that offering. You can make them all in one, but you want to be clear, and you want to make each offering its own separate event, but I don't think that it needs a separate dish. So those would be my thoughts on the matter for either of the two ways that I see the question could be meant. I hope you find it helpful, and until next time, may you blessed be.
Hello, my name is Cher Davis, and I'm greeting you from Jacksonville, Florida. Please join me as I lift my prayer to the God and Goddess. I pray for peace. I pray for love. I pray for stability. I pray for the nation where I live. I pray for the world. So mote it be.